All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. So today I wanted to talk about something that I think might be helpful for either new players or people mostly who are looking into this game and trying it as free to play. So this one is a little bit difficult, and it started off because I was talking to one of my real life friends and he asked me if I enjoyed this game and what it's all about. So we were talking about it, and so he was thinking about starting the game, and I was like, okay, so here's what you do. There's a lot of information, but anyway, so trying to get people to try this game without having to spend like little thousands of dollars or even a lot, hundreds, I would say. And we were coming up with ideas. Well, I was talking to my guild a little bit and some of my other friends. I was like, so what are some things that we could talk about that would be free to play friendly, and how you would go about doing some of these? So yeah, I have a little bit of a list of things that we could talk about. So let's say you are a new player starting out. Some of the things that I think are important to learn early on is, first of all, reading the central market. And this goes with a lot of things because, one, it'll help you get a lot of pets and stuff over time, and just stuff that you could pay for, but if you have the patience, you don't have to. And the fact that you can only pre-order or just have one pearl item order on anything at a given time, it kind of sucks, but I understand why they do that. So number one, as we all know, getting pets is very important. They help you grind faster, and overall just good to have. So we're not talking about like having maxed out tier 4s and a tier 5 pet. Let's say you're a new player, you want 1 or 5 tier 1 pets at a very minimum. So how do you go about getting it? Nowadays it's a little bit easier than before. Well, I say easier, it's still kind of difficult, but there's a lot of events going on these days. There's like always an event of some sort, and they actually give pets away pretty frequently. So a lot of these pets, like, yeah, I have maxed out pets, but that's just been playing for so long. But you see all these tier 1 pets and stuff, like they even gave away tier 4 pets at some point, and which I think they might do something really nice for the upcoming Heidel Ball Copium. But like, I have not bought a pet in a long time. All of these things, like, after I made my first like few or like 4 tier 4s a while ago, I haven't bought a pet since. So all of these are pretty much free, and they just kind of give them away throughout events. So if you have patience and you're playing, that you'll get pets. It just might be a little bit, but reading the central market is one of the things. And I want to teach you just a very broad basic on how to like find something. This goes for more than pets, by the way. Like, find something that you think might actually sell versus something that is probably not going to. So it doesn't have to be pets. It could be costumes as well. So just a general idea, if you look at something, it'll tell you the recent transaction date and how many have been sold. So you see, like, the last one was sold, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. And then you see how this one isn't even max price. And wait, I guess, hold on. Let's go back to the other one. You see this arrow right here? It'll tell you this is the hard cap that you can sell an item for. And it'll have a red arrow down at the min price, and then this is maximum. So what you want to look at is, generally when it comes to real life money items or pearl shop stuff, not many people are going to sell it for under maximum, and very understandably. So you want to look at items that are hard maxed with the arrow, and sometimes you want to look at items that have a lot of sales on it. So that's just involving like you looking at all the things. So for example, this one is not a good one because, one, the last transaction was July and it's not even maxed. So yeah, you have a better chance of getting this one because it is maxed and there's more recent sales. So that's just a very general term on pretty much any item. I guess more importantly would be like costumes and stuff. So this is a very difficult thing to talk about. It's not because like money is a problem for, we're talking about free to play, but it varies based on servers. So I want to make sure this is like a general topic that no matter what server you play on, this advice will help you. Obviously, I'm on NA, which people like to say that costumes are always sitting, and that's more or less true. Like, you can get costumes on NA, but you can't just like instantly get it. Some days, like right now, they're all sold out, but if you put an order on, you'll generally get it within a few days, whereas like EU or something, you're just not getting it for a while. But anyway, that's how you read the central market. And another thing that I would 100% make sure to look at, the loyalty shop is basically your best friend if you're a free-to-player player. Even if you're not, it's still pretty nice. So a lot of these things that I've just bought over the days, and some things I think are important, is one, you can get your own costume like here. And if you're just playing one character and you want a costume for it just to use, I mean, by all means, that's super handy. Weight in inventory is something I think is also very important with loyalties. Every character has their own set of weight you can buy. And I know, hold up, let me show you this. Okay, so these things right here, loyalty weight, these are very important because you can buy these on every character. They just cost like the same loyalty, but it's not family wide, so it's per character. But I would recommend picking a character that you think is something you want to play for a long term before investing into these, because you get 200 loyalty a day. So if you just were to calculate it, that's like 1 month for one. So that's why it's important. However, you don't have to spend all the weight. And of course, worker lodging is always good. Stables are pretty nice, but I would recommend getting weight first, costumes first, and then, yeah, that's really about it. If they have like inventory, weight, important stuff, I would get those first. So with that said, one thing, I just forgot. The loyalty value pack. This is something that you can get for 1 day. And I sort of hesitate to buy this even as a free-to-play, because they kind of give you a lot of these just by login rewards pretty regularly. However, if you're starting at a time, it doesn't matter. Let's say you're watching this video 2 years later from this date. This will be relevant, but who knows how the game will shift over that time. So for the sake of a general advice, if you're using your loyalties on something, it would be a value pack, because that will save you a lot of silver in general. And let's say you're selling an item, right? And I don't know, say you're selling this, right? Now, if you sell it to an order, you're just gonna, like, if you sell it to an order right here, you're instantly going to get taxed off of that. And if you don't have a value pack running, then you're gonna lose a lot more money. So what would you do in place of that? So let's say you sell something, they'll have a yellow icon here, wherever, and it'll just be like, okay, collect the money, and you just leave that sitting there until you have an active value pack, and then you won't take that extra like 30% tax. So basically, if you're trying to sell all your things, you can sell it, but don't collect the money until you have a value pack running. So if you are very limited on value packs, then you could just sell everything, and then once every, I don't know, 2 weeks, you get that 1 day hard collect everything. Is it fun to do that? No. And I've always said this, and this is just my opinion, but if you play an MMO, I kind of just think the $15 a month as a subscription of some sort is, you know, just the standard. So like, think of any game where they just charge you $15. The value pack is $15. So I consider that the equivalent of a subscription to the game. And I'm glad it's optional, but if you're going to spend any money on the game, I would highly recommend it be on value pack and pets. But yeah, I have an entire different Pearl Shop video and how to get the most value out of it. So you could find that on the channel somewhere. But anyway, this is for free to play, just tips in general. A lot of stuff has actually changed over the years, and a lot of stuff is easier to get nowadays. So, like, is it a bad time to ever play this game? No, I think if you were to just watch this video at any given time, I think it's a good time to start the game. Well, unless they literally announce that they're shutting the game down like next week, then probably not. But overall, as long as the game is still going, I think there's no wrong time to start it. So that's good. And there are a few things I wanted to show you guys. So I have a tent, and the way it works is I'll show you the how to get the free version. When I say free, I mean you're using silver instead of real money. And everything we're talking about here is as long as you can get it within the game by like grinding or anything, that's fair game. Like silver, anything at silver cost, you're good. So this tent is what we're going to be looking at. And this is the paid one, but there is a free version. I'll show you how to get it and everything. But basically, the reason why you're going to want the tent is because you get to have villa scrolls or villa buffs and not have to go into the desert, which we had to do a long time ago before this even existed. And you could get your loot buffs and potions, which is always nice. So back in the day, before this existed, we would have to like stack potions on our horses, and there weren't, well, I think there were maids back in the day, but it's like no one really wanted to spend it, which is another thing we'll talk about soon. But basically, I don't remember if there was a quest you had to do, and if there was, I don't think it's a long quest, so it's definitely something you'll probably just find under your set suggested or whatever. So your old moon manager, the way you figure that out is go to the top where the like magnifying glasses, you just type like old moon, and then something will pop up. You just find it in whatever town you're at. So you just find old moon manager and you see the shop. So basically this is the contract that allows you to like get it, use it. And then all of these items, the corrosive allows you to make the anvil and the container thing. So basically you buy these. I don't remember if there's a quest or anything. A lot of these items that you see in the shop are useful. However, you kind of have to know what you're doing before anything. So I'll just a quick rundown. What are these for? These are for tier 5 pets, which is super late in the game. This is the Jatina's thing for the guaranteed pen accessory, not pen accessories, pen armors and weapons. This one is for the pen accessories. This thing is for multi-crafting Imperials. Sensor mold is for tier 10 horse materials. Marnie's unstable fuel is for tagging characters later on. And the rest of these are like pretty self-explanatory. Mass elixir crafting. I don't think I've ever used this thing actually, to be honest. And then these are for the tents, and this one is for elixir frenzy something. But anyway, that was a little bit off topic, just in case you cared what those did. So you could buy the tent, and basically that thing is like a 2-week contract. It's a temporary one, but you use silver instead of real money, so I absolutely think it's worth it. And then you get the equivalent of what we just saw before. You could get the villa buffs, repair, storage, and shop, I believe. So anyway, that was a cool tip, and that's a very important one. And back in the day, we questioned if it was worth it, because many years ago, we didn't make like 1 billion silver an hour. We made like 10 to 20 mil, and that thing cost a lot. So was it worth it? Yeah, technically it was, but it's like you kind of took a huge chunk of your income, instead of nowadays you're just like, oh, okay, I'll go do something for 10 minutes and I made my money back. And so yeah, was it worth it now? Yes. Okay, so we have another thing that I'm going to show you. Now, this one is horse stacking. A lot of you guys already know it, and so do the developers. And have they fixed it in 6 years? No, they haven't. And they definitely know about it, but it's just at this point in the game, it's more just everyone does it. So basically, the way it works is if you have a horse, you could put items into here, and it has a weight limit. At this point, they should just remove the weight limit. They're not fixing it. And you can overstack and put more than enough weight on it. So basically, the way it works, it'd be like if you... I'm just giving you an example. So you have your inventory right here. And we'll just put something that has a lot of weight. So there is a limit. I just don't know what that limit is. And then you could put it onto your inventory. You take it from there and put it there. See how your weight is like stupid overstacked? Yeah, you could do that when you're grinding, and you just put your trash loot over there on your horse. Basically, it's just common. Everyone does it these days. I figured if Perlibus thought it was a problem, they would have patched it 6 years ago, but they haven't. And this one is a little bit off and on because, one, I'm putting this in this video because they do give these away for free. Now, we're going to be talking about the storage maids and the ones for your inventory. So the way to get around a lot of, like, if you have potion issues, realistically, the best way to fix that problem is go for the infinite potions. Yes, it is a grind. Is it worth it? 100% worth it. Will you ever make the money back by doing, like, grinding higher end areas? Probably not, but, like, is the item worth it itself? Yes, you should 100% do it. So basically, if you don't have it, let's say you're a new player, don't have infinite potions, and you're wondering how to get potions in general. So every storage or your central market should have potions in there, and then you just take the thing out. And well, even I do it sometimes. Like, I have maids, but for the, let's say you have like one or two and you got it for free. I think if you buy the bundle, just like, you know, when you're purchasing the game itself, there's like the, I don't know, $10 bundle, or sometimes you can actually get the game for free. I don't actually know how that works nowadays, but I know you can get the game for free legally. And it's like you, if you buy it, it gives you like a game pass or something, and then you can give that game pass to your friend. Or sometimes they just have sales, or it used to be like if you get your character to level 30 on a free trial, basically your account gets upgraded to like a free account and you can play forever. I don't know if that's still how it works, but either way, let's say you're paying like for a bundle for the game just off the website, you're buying it there. The highest one will give you like a maid or two, and then you keep potions in there and just hard maid off of those potions if you need it. But that one is a little bit like out there. I wasn't sure if I wanted to add that as a tip into here because spending money. But anyway, I did want to add it just in case, because every now and then they do give a lot of maids a wave just by playing the game. And I can assure you, I have not bought 71 of them. Maybe less than half. I think I've bought maybe like 20 in total over the years. And those are on sale as well. The rest of them we just got from playing the game over the years. So yeah. Next thing I want to talk about is the free inventory and weight. Well, we talked about the weight from the loyalties. And here's one thing that you shouldn't really worry about too much. Now, your inventory right here. You may see when you first start the game, half of these are locked, and I don't actually know what the what you start with, but just by questing and playing through the game, it gives you quite a lot of inventory storage spaces. So even nowadays, this unironically is basically my inventory most of the time, give or take another like 10 items if I'm like grinding some other things. Over the years, they made a lot of items stackable, which is super helpful. And I've always said, even in other videos, that weight limit right here is worth a lot more or more valuable than inventory space. So if you had a choice between weight or inventory space, you'd always take the weight 100% of the time. So anyway, the way you would look for it, and I don't have it on this character, but it would be under your suggested tab. And then actually I can show you over here under the, I just had to uncheck it. So basically, wait, hold on. Okay, this was the quest for the old moon thing. Good to know. Pets here. Yeah, basically just everything we just talked about, you can get it for free just by questing and playing the game. So inventory, just do all these quests and you get free inventory slots. And let me show you something awesome. Hold on. Quick detour and rolling. Let me show you something. You see all these inventory coupons? You get these from playing the season. And this is there's been like what, 6 or 7 seasons at this point. You get them from just playing through it. You don't even have to spend any money. And these, I did not buy any of them. They just got it from the years of playing, inventory, login rewards, and whatnot. So, yeah, there's just a lot of them. And it's very nice to have. So, with that said, what else is important that we can get free to play? We talked about pets. Oh yeah, pets. Well, we more or less covered it. I think one extra thing we want to talk about is how you can get it. And I believe by doing the Valencia quest line on multiple characters, unless they changed it, you can get like a tier 1 pet. And I'm not sure, I don't think it's family wide. So it's like you can do it as many times as you have characters, once per character. So technically you could probably have like 20 pets if you really wanted to do Valencia 20 times, which I do not ever want to do that again. It was not fun. But yeah, there's just things you gotta do if you're not willing to spend money. And one last tip, this might be pretty obvious, but fairy rerolling. As we all know, fairies can be free to play. They could be stupidly expensive. And for me, I think I got good RNG up until Continuous Care came out, and then I kind of spent some money on that one. It was not the greatest feeling, but anyway. So as we all know, let's say if you are not willing to spend money, you're gonna get a fairy at some point. The way you get it is you go gather, or sometimes you just do something. You get Lila petals, right? You take it to the Kama Sylve Temple, and for every 2 of them, you get a sealed fairy wing. That's what you exchange it for, down at the Kama Temple, which is over here. And the NPC will give you them. It gives you a random one between tier 1 to tier 4. Chances are you're getting a tier 1, right? So let's say you get that one. What do? You get the honey wine. And these are basically used to level up everything into growth over here. And let me show you the paid option, which I didn't even buy either. I just kind of log in rewards. So where is it? The honey, dark honey wine. This is the paid version. Basically, it's more XP. But even then, I probably would not recommend buying it, even like if you needed it. So always buy the silver route if you can. The honey wine. And if the honey wine is sold out, I believe the way I did it back in the day was you could use green gear as long as it's not enhanced, I believe, unless they changed it. That's how I did it a while ago. So you see all these like green weapon boxes they added. It doesn't have to be, I don't think it matters what kind, as long as it's like green gear. And then they are the equivalent of honey wine, and it just levels up your fairies XP. I don't know what's the optimal route, but those are 2 options you could use. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And if you guys have any other free-to-play tips for new players, or just people who don't, or low spender people, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm actually curious to hear, because yeah, I was talking to my friend about this, and we're just coming up with things you could do without spending money. And I'll be real honest with you. If you really want to go into this game free to play, you're gonna struggle a little bit. However, I don't think that the game is super wild to the point where like you're not gonna have fun. I do have a video on just like how to get the most value, and I think if I'm gonna be honest, the realistic amount you would be thinking of spending to have like a decent time is, and these are like one-time purchases, not like monthly. We're not going to count the value pack as a sub. I just like, there are ways to get around it, but like I just consider that the monthly sub of any game and just have that rolling. But the realistic amount I think for people to have as like one-time purchases and you're good is probably roughly like, I think you could do fine with like $100 investment into the game. And yeah, I understand that's a lot for some people, but like the way I see games these days, even now, is you know how like your standard video game is like $60 to $100. I just consider that the price. And if you can get the game for free, just BDO in general, I think with $100 investment, you'll do just fine. And just consider it the cost of, you know, your standard game, and you'll be good. So yeah, with that said, always looking for more free-to-play tips for everyone. And hopefully, if you have any questions or you are a new player, feel free to ask, because I've been playing this game for, is it going on 7 years soon? Probably. And back when I started, there were no guides. I just kind of had to figure everything out myself. And nowadays, I know there's a lot of information in this game that new players will definitely get confused with. So I'm trying to make videos on just hopefully making everyone's experience with the game a little bit easier and more fun. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments, join the Discord and whatnot. Happy to answer those. But the question of the day for you guys is, what other free-to-play tips would you give to new players? And with that said, I'm out for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.